Okay, welcome to Nutz at Night. It's technically Friday, but it's Thursday night. I consider it Thursday night because I'm not ready to party just yet. If it was Friday, then I wouldn't be worried about going in tomorrow for work, as most people probably are. Actually, I don't worry about going into work. Sometimes it just feels like an inconvenience. Anyway, let's see what we got here. I actually bought a monitor today, a Samsung 2033SW. I bought it to be an addition to my iMac. I'm really partial to matte screens instead of the glossy screens. My eyes just seem to like them better. It's more comfortable for me to look at. So I was at Best Buy and I was looking at a Samsung monitor, and it's pretty. I looked at some monitors there, and there's some pretty nice ones. And the Samsung looked great. But I'll tell you something. When I brought it home and I put it up against the Mac, it looked terrible. And I think the monitor is actually not very good, which I expected more from Samsung. There's no saturation in the color. It's too bright. It's supposed to have this awesome contrast ratio, which I like having dark, thick blacks. It didn't have it. It wasn't cutting it. Put it back in the box. I'm going to take that baby back tomorrow. And the other thing I bought too. Man, I just go on impulse buys sometimes. I'm like, I bought the monitor. I'm like, it was like $209. I'm like, I didn't really want to spend $200 for a monitor. But as I'm walking out, I walk down the aisle with the speakers in it, and I bought a pair of Bose Companion 2s. They're called Companion 2 or 3. Let me check. Companion 2 speakers, like they're desktop computer speakers. I'm taking that back too. Man, you guys gave me some good suggestions for speakers, and I should have listened to them, but I didn't. So. Yeah, Bose. They're Bose. It's amazing. They sound. The only thing wrong with them, the mids are great, the lows are great, but the highs just aren't there. The highs aren't there, and it's a real good mix. I mean, if you listen to these things, you feel like there's some pretty big speakers there on each side of you, and it fills the room. It's really nice, but it's just missing those highs. And I'm not gonna settle. I don't care about taking stuff back anymore. If it's not a quality product, then I'm taking it back. That's all there is to it. So I'm going to do that with the Bose. So call in, guys. Let me know. There's a call-in show. Definitely call in. I'm going to put the Skype sign up. Just Skype Nutz at Night now if you want to call in. Let me know if you have any experience with speakers. What kind of monitor should I get? I don't like big screens. I like a 20-inch monitor or a 19-inch monitor. It's like the perfect view for me, because anything bigger than that, I feel like somebody's holding a big thing in front of my face, and it crushes my space around me. When I have a smaller monitor, I could see over it. I could see around it. I don't feel so confined. I'm not claustrophobic or anything, but take a piece of cardboard, right? Like a 20-inch piece of cardboard squared, and just put it in front of your face. That's what a big monitor feels like to me. It's like someone's holding a board up in front of my face. So even though the Mac screen is beautiful, and it really is nice compared to a lot of the other screens. So, a lot of people say Mac, you're not paying for the parts with Mac. You're paying for the sleekness. You're paying for the experience, and the parts are not that quality. Well, the screen actually is. The screen actually is quality. I've compared it up against every screen I have here, and I go to the stores all the time and check out screens, and they really do have nice screens. And I proved it tonight with that Samsung. And that Samsung is one of the better screens in the store. So call up if you want to talk about that. Mike Petro was thinking about calling it today. He's not on the Skype, though. He got caught up fixing a Virut virus, or Virut, however you want to call it. V-I-R-U-T. It's probably Virut, correct pronunciation. We have to ask the maker of the virus to get the correct pronunciation. If anybody can find him, let me know, and I will contact him, and I won't be asking him. If we do find out where he is, I will not be asking him how to pronounce his stupid-ass virus, because this thing kills computers. I don't know if you guys have gotten this yet. It attacks exe files. You'll be doing a reinstall, right? You'll think everything will be fine. Then you go to install Internet Explorer, and you just start getting crazy errors. Or you try to run Malwarebytes, and you get like a runtime error. Virut is a nasty, nasty thing. I don't know of a way to get rid of it other than doing a reinstall. So if your antivirus doesn't catch it the second it gets on your system, I think you're pretty much screwed. Let me know if you guys have gotten that. Citizen X is asking if I haven't mastered that virus. No, we learned how to avoid it, Barb. We learned how to avoid the virus. Once it gets on there and it spreads itself, then there's like no turning back on that one. Okay, who's sending me a private message here? All right, let's see what else we got. How's the video and sound for you guys, okay? Getting reverb? No reverb here. I do not have effects on my sound, too. Everybody else is saying it's okay. iNet Bogey's getting reverb. Okay, what else do we got here? Definitely call me, guys. I'll think of some other stuff to talk about here. I got some stuff on the list. Oh, it was very nice. You guys listen to Tech Vets with Kerry Holzman and Mike Smith. It's a great show. And somebody wrote in on email with asking about replacing laptop screens and when the bulb goes out and the inverter board goes out, how do you test it and stuff. I did a video on that a couple months ago, I think, and they referred that person to the video, and they put a link to the podnutz.com laptop repair videos on their site. So I just want to say thank you guys for doing that. And anybody listening to this show, check out Tech Vets. It's at tech-vets.com. It's a great show, and it's from two people who really know their computers, and they cover a lot of stuff. And then every couple episodes, they answer all the listener questions, and it's really good. I mean, I listen to it and I learn stuff all the time. So check that out. You know what Claudius said? Is Claudius in the chat room there? Claudius, you mind if I read that email you sent me or some parts of it? Let's see if we get some ideas on this thing. Claudius was talking about, this is a great idea. He hangs out in the Podnutz Lounge, and so does Acid Burn and Door to Door Geek. They're like, I think they're in there almost all the time. At least, not even though they're not actively doing stuff, possibly, at least they have it on. So it's almost like, if you go to the Podnutz Lounge, it's almost like instant tech support. You know what I mean? It's like a live chat for tech support. Use the Podnutz Lounge for that if you want. Go in there and talk tech. If those guys are always in there, and at least have it up on their IRC readers or clients, they'll know if you're there, and they could probably help you out with some stuff. Another thing to do is go into the Podnutz forums. But Claudius had an idea about using Twitter. I think it's a great idea, Claudius. Using Twitter for tech support. Now, Claudius, the thing is, I don't want to use I don't want to use Podnutz, like at Podnutz, that Twitter account for that. But I was thinking about setting up another account for Podnutz, like Podnutz Help or Podnutz Support. You tell me what you guys want to name it, like would be the most fitting name. And I'll create another Twitter account, and it'll be used completely for tech support. You just ask tech questions there if you're having a problem or whatever. Podnutz Help. Podnutz Help sounds good. If you guys all agree with that, we'll do that. I'll check over the chat room at the end of the show, and we'll see who gets the most votes. But I think it's a great idea, and because Twitter's what everybody's using now. Everybody's on Twitter, and I'll tell you what, it'll actually help the podcast, because if people are doing searches for Twitter, and that's what people are doing now, using like Twitter search engines and searching Twitter for things, people might